Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Night Phase, bringing you my quick reviews of Doctor Sleep and Parasite. Don't worry, they will be non-spoiler, going to be concise, quick, like I usually do. But we're going to start off with Doctor Sleep first. I'm going to give you my overall thoughts and my grade, and then we're going to move on to Parasite. Both these films, right off the bat, really liked, so I'm excited to talk about them. So it's going to be real laid back, uncut, no editing, none of that. Cause I just let's just go with the flow, right? I like doing reviews like that. So here we go. Doctor Sleep. I was really anticipating this film, being a sequel to The Shining. I'm unfamiliar with the book. Never even knew that there was a Stephen King novel that was a sequel to The Shining, set many years later, and that focused primarily on Danny Torrance, all grown up. So with that concept, and then with the trailer and the talent involved, Ewan McGregor portraying Danny Torrance, a grown-up version of him, as well as director Mike Flanagan, who is such a great upcoming horror director. He's made movies like Oculus, Hush, and he really knocked it out of the park with A Haunting of Hill House. If you've not seen that horror series on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's so good. So, with all the talent involved, like I said, I was really excited for this, and it did not disappoint. Uh, Doctor Sleep really stands on its own without needing The Shining as a really good, like, effective, like fantasy slash thriller slash horror kind of movie. Very intriguing, but we've seen this before. It has a lot of supernatural slash power plays into the film, meaning that there's certain characters that have like almost superhuman abilities, like superpower abilities, in a sense, which was pretty cool. I did not expect to see that in this kind of film. But then the third act, if you've seen the trailer, there's going to be a lot of shining callbacks when they return to the Overlook Hotel. And as a Shining fan, I got my money's worth uh, with the whole film overall, and the third act, which is just fan service galore. But I think the fan service was done so right, and the build up to that was so earned. I just loved every minute of this film. The performances, like I said, great. Ewan McGregor, you really feel the tragedy of his character dealing with the trauma. Having your dad almost try to kill you with a fucking axe. Here's Johnny, Daddy boy, with Jack Nicholson. So it was interesting to see how he developed as a character, as a adult, and you can see he's still struggling. I mean, he tries to drink his problems away. He's always on the go, but eventually, he settles in a town and he tries to help people with his shining ability. Hence the title, Doctor Sleep, which if you see the movie, you'll see what that primarily means. And I was just blown away. I cannot commend the acting and Mike Flanagan's just impeccable direction, the way he took the story and then the build up to that, returning to the roots of The Shining, the Overlook Hotel, which was great. And a lot of people I've seen reviews where people saying that there should have been some de-aging with the flashbacks, because there are a few flashbacks, but instead they chose to cast young actors that look like their counterpart self, like the characters from Stanley Kubrick's 1980 The Shining, instead of doing the de-aging and all that stuff, technology. Maybe they could have gotten Jack Nicholson or Shelley Duvall and de-aged them. But I was fine with just casting actors that look like them, their younger versions, and it worked for me. I mean, sure, it could have been more effective if it was the original actors portraying themselves again, but it was still effective. It just flowed well into the narrative and the storyline. And I really liked it. I really dug that a lot. I gotta talk about this child actor, this actress. She was phenomenal. She almost stole the movie, but it didn't get stolen from her. We'll get to the other character in a second. But yeah, her character Amber Stone, she has the shining ability. Danny starts communicating her through the shining gifts, like telepathy kind of stuff, and it was pretty cool. She was a badass character. I like her confidence, and yeah, she really knew how to carry herself. I really liked her character a lot. So I was just so invested with these characters. And then you get the villain of this film played so wonderfully by Rebecca Ferguson. My God, I mean, Rebecca Ferguson. Oh. Not familiar with her as an actress. She was in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. I think that was one of her first movies, one of her first big movies, and in Fallout. Uh, yeah, just killed it, crushed it as Rose the Hat, as the antagonist. Like her whole line delivery where she goes, "Hi there," ooh, just sent chills down my spine. There was just this wicked charm to her, and she was so devilish and cunning in the role. And there was one sequence where she's like levitating, and it's such a unique sequence where she's like levitating and floating through space and time over like a location. It was almost like a Doctor Strange moment. It was so just visually, whoa. I love that sequence. There's a lot of sequences like that that were just so well shot. And basically, she's the leader of this pack of nomads, these immortals who suck the steam and drain the life force out of people who have the shining gifts and abilities. And it really does feel like something Stephen King would write. So that's what I'm saying. It excels as like a Stephen King standalone film, but then it works as well being a tie into The Shining, especially when they go back towards the end. And I loved every minute of it. They were seeing the Overlook Hotel, all decrepit, all broken down. It was so good. It's everything I wanted. The score, the cinematography, it oh man, it just really did it for me. And I know there's like this split with the Stanley Kubrick fans, diehard Stanley Kubrick fans expected this to be The Shining too, and it's like, come on, you can't top Kubrick. I mean, whoever it was, it's like an impossible task, and you're also forgetting Stephen King was not a fan of the uh, Kubrick Shining adaptation from 1980. He was not a fan because of the things Stanley Kubrick changed from his adaptation, which I am aware of, but they kind of fixed that here, which I really appreciated. I know Stephen King really appreciated that. I don't know if that was his idea to do that towards the end, but it was really cool how they tied that into this film, and it worked out beautifully. It made sense to go down that route, and yeah, I had a blast. It's one of my favorite films of the year. Is number 6 on my top 10. Definitely will be doing a top 10 favorite movies of 2019. But all my like favorite films of the year, just starting to see now, which is crazy, because in the beginning it was like mainly like Avengers Endgame and Toy Story 4 were the two films of this year that were a lock in for my top 10. And then everything else is like give or take. Like Spider Man Far From Home, John Wick Chapter 3, Shazam, what have you. Those are good films that I really enjoyed. Um, but I can take it or leave it out of my top 10, if you know what I mean. But so far, the way I'm doing my top 10 is, yeah, a lot of those films I just mentioned, besides Endgame, Toy Story 4, they're a lock in already. Yeah, most of those films, they could be replaced easily. Maybe John Wick Chapter 3, not so much, because I mean, damn, John Wick just with them headshots, So, but the other films, yeah, like with these other superior films that superior, not superhero, superior films. Like for example, Joker. I just saw Parasite, which we're gonna get into. That just so many other movies. I know Ford v Ferrari is coming out with Christian Bale. I'm excited to see that because it's the director of Logan, which is my favorite film of all time. So I'm excited just to see that. There's one called Marriage Story that's going to come out in December, I believe, with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. I just saw the Peanut Butter Falcon. It's a great movie as well. I'm just seeing all these awesome movies like The Nightingale, all that. Yeah, minus the White House. But yeah, man, it's a great time to go to the movies, great time to be alive and be a movie lover, going to the cinemas and seeing all these films. And I think it's the first time for me personally. I know I'm kind of getting away from the Doctor Sleep review, but for me personally, it just feels so refreshing and fulfilling to, step out of my comfort zone and not just focus on seeing everything that's mainstream. Because normally, what I would do is I would just watch, like mainstream blockbusters, the movies that pop at you and those kind of movies. I don't go to the movies sometimes for those like quieter films, like those indie films or any foreign films or that matter. I don't make that trip, but this year has been different. I guess, with everything going on in my life, I kind of need that to fill in the gap to just drive me to the theater and make me want to go see it, and it does, and it's very fulfilling. Like I said, it's great. And that brings us to Parasite. So Doctor Sleep is a 9 out of 10. Before we get to Parasite, sorry. Doctor Sleep is a 9 out of 10. Go see it. I didn't really get into spoilers. This is all non spoiler, by the way. Highly recommended. If you're a Shining fan, if you're a Stephen King fan, definitely go watch it. I got my money's worth. I know a lot of Kubrick fans didn't like it because it wasn't like Stanley Kubrick's film, but whatever. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a solid Stephen King kind of standalone film, and that's what I got with, uh, fan service of The Shining towards the end, which I think warrants a ticket. That in itself warrants a ticket. So 9 out of 10. Doctor Sleep, one of my favorites of the year. So Parasite. Parasite. This is the film I'm talking about. It was these two films, The Lighthouse and Parasite, are being unanimously can't even talk today. They're being universally critically praised. I mean, this thing has 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I believe so, and then The Lighthouse is over like 95%, I believe, as well. So these two films were the ones I was really dying to see because I was just wanted to see if it just appeased to just the critics and not the audience. With The Lighthouse, unfortunately, it was more of the critics, and some audience people do like it, and you know that's fine, but it wasn't for me. The Lighthouse was not for me. I think by just hearing people just shit on movies like the Joker and then praise The Lighthouse makes me feel like it's already overrated. It's already outstayed its welcome. That's just how I personally feel about it. I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't have to listen to these pretentious film snobs get all snobby and say shit like, well, you should watch The Lighthouse and not watch Joker. Don't support movies like the Joker. Support movies like The Lighthouse. That's why they don't get made. And I think that's bullshit. I think that's just ignorance um, to say something like that. I feel like you should support both films, both. It doesn't matter if Joker may is gonna make a billion and The Lighthouse. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's just take the box office shenanigans out of the equation. Okay, both films appeal to the audience, in different ways. And even though I didn't like The Lighthouse, I can't say in bullshit it's a bad film unless you talk trash about my movie Joker. Then I will say that, but I don't mean it. I can't. It's kind of hard to say it's a piece of shit film, The Lighthouse, when it's really not. It's well made. It's technically well made, well shot. Just the story and the characters didn't do nothing for me personally for in the Lighthouse. It's fine, but a lot of people got invested in it, and That's fine. I just hate this, this whole mainstream versus art house, indie. Like I hate niche kind of audience. Like I can take both. I like to watch both. Um, but just because something like The Lighthouse didn't work for me, guess what? Parasite, on the other hand, that's a masterpiece. That is the movie of the year. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. I was immediately absorbed within the story of Parasite, which is a vast difference from The Lighthouse, where it's just it takes its time. The Lighthouse is a more atmospheric, and you're just more, in awe of the style and the cinematography and the camera work with The Lighthouse. With Parasite, it's everything. Not just on a technical level with the cinematography, because there are some gorgeous shots in the movie Parasite, and the score and all, and the directing is superb. This is the same director who made Snowpiercer and countless other films like The Host and then Memoirs of a Murder. And I need to watch those, but I've seen Snowpiercer, which I really, really liked, really loved. And he's come out with this. And I've always been a fan of Korean cinema. Korean films like Old Boy, I Saw the Devil, The Man from Nowhere, The Chaser, just name a few. So yeah, I had a good feeling about this, and it did not disappoint. I'm so glad. Like I openly admitted in my Instagram review, if it wasn't for my personal bias, I admit I'm very biased when it comes to comic book films because that's my bread and butter. That's what I always loved growing up, and it's never gonna change. Okay, it's never gonna change. That's just what I favor the most. Hey, but I give props where props is due, and if it wasn't for Avengers Endgame and Joker, let's say those movies didn't come out this year, then without a doubt, without no hesitation, Parasite would be my number one film of 2019. In fact, it's one of the best films I've seen in like years. Seriously, it's like it does not only excel on a filmmaking level, but on a storytelling level as well. And that's one of the most important factors for me in being absorbed, wrapped up, and praising a film is the storytelling good. Is better than good. It's great because the less you know about this film, the better it will be. Because this is a film that the pacing is like perfect. It takes us time when it's supposed to, and it does not meander or hold your hand along the way. And immediately you're just drawn into these characters because the writing is so excellent. It's a flawless film. There's no faults within this film. I would be surprised if someone posted a review just completely trying to shit on this movie. It's blasphemy. What? No, that person is on crack. He's unstable. Lock him up. Seriously, it would just blow my mind if somebody went into this and said, "Well, this movie sucked. I didn't like it." Like, how could you not enjoy this movie? I mean, this movie, it does everything right. It hooks you, line and sinker. It just hooks you immediately. Um, and I think what I appreciate the most about this film is the grounded realism and just the social satire, the dark comedy and social commentary on the upper class and the lower class, the rich and the poor. And you get to see both perspectives, and it's done beautifully. It doesn't beat you over the head. It's done beautifully in the story with two families. You got the Park family, and then you got the other family, the Kim family, I believe, because the father's name Mr. Kim, I believe. And I mean, there's a twist that happens somewhere in the film. I won't even say where, just so you would be surprised. And I'm not even gonna spoil this film because I know if I spoil it, then people are just gonna be like, "Well, I don't need to go see it." Like, no, you have to see Parasite. You gotta see it. If it's playing in a theater near you, if you have to drive, I don't know, half an hour, even an hour and a half, it's worth the trip. I guarantee you. I had to drive 30 minutes to a theater that's shown it in Cinemark, like in the middle of Orlando International. I said, fuck it. I need to do it. I need to see this film. and I don't regret it. It's amazing. It's man, the characters. Basically, the premise, the plot. In case you don't know, in case you don't watch the trailer, I feel like you should just watch the trailer and that's it. Even the trailer does an excellent job not revealing anything, which is rare nowadays. Because you go into movies and even though the trailer doesn't reveal the big stuff, it reveals enough where you go, "Oh, this is the part where this happens." Why? Because I seen it in the trailer. I know you anticipate it happening, and when it does, you're like, "Oh yeah, I kind of wish I didn't see it in the trailer." And that's all I'm saying. That this film does an excellent job, just really hiding uh, the explosive, like insane, like twists and turns, and what it all builds up to. It has like I said, dark comedy, drama, and then it slowly morphs into like a suspenseful kind of thriller. I mean, it's just mind blowing. I love every minute of Parasite. The acting is phenomenal. All these Korean actors, like bravo to all of them. I hope this film gets nominated, not just for like, because they always do that best foreign language film. Fuck that. No. You need to include this film within the rest of the US, categories like best acting, best writing, best editing, best sound, all of that. Best picture. This Parasite for best picture. All I'm saying. Parasite needs to sweep the Oscars. That's my movie, my pick to win the Oscars of this year. I mean, even best director. I mean, I had so many emotions going to this film, and then by the end, it really struck a chord to me because I can relate to, especially the Kim family, the poor family, their struggles, how they feel, the opportunity that they seize, even though morally it's not right. You understand each character's motivations and their actions and the consequences that happens because of their actions that lead into that. I mean, it's a great monumental achievement. This film, director Bon Joon Hoon, I believe his name is. I don't want to butcher his name, so I will take the time to look up this director's name because just a phenomenal movie. Bon Joon Ho is the director's name. I look forward to anything he does. This won the Palme d'Or. That's the biggest award in the Cannes Film Festival, and usually that don't mean shit to me when I see that because there's been movies that have won that award from the Cannes where I'm just like, it wasn't for me. I didn't like it really. It wasn't all that. This one though, this is one of the first where I'm just like, yes, 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 it's deserving of that. I can't praise Parasite enough. If you've not seen it, please go watch it. Support this film. Step out of your comfort zone, even if you're too lazy as shit to read subtitles. Slap yourself silly and read a fucking dictionary and just read the damn subtitles because it's not that serious. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to read subtitles. What's it in Spanish? It's in French." Like, so fucking what? So what? Like, we live in a world full of different countries, full of different languages, full of different races. Like, just you should feel inclined, to learn more about other cultures and stuff, and just like I said, just take a break from watching all the nonsensical like boom boom action action like crazy like blockbusters that suck at telling stories and just the same shit different day kind of movies that Hollywood just throws out and just wants to shove down your throat while you're just eating, digesting, stale ass popcorn. Like no, man, just watch movies like this. Get these movies a watch. Even though I didn't like The Lighthouse, at least I would say still check that movie out because it's totally different. Same with this movie as well. Yeah, Parasite is a flawless film. It's a masterpiece. I'm saying everything that's already been said about this movie, and I'm glad I watched it. I watched it twice actually, and I can't wait to see it a third time. The Blu-ray's coming out. I'm gonna rewatch the hell out of it. It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, perfect for Parasite. Go watch it. Go watch Doctor Sleep. Post your comments down below. Let me know you watched any of these films. That's gonna wrap it up with my reviews. If you find my channel for the first time, make sure you hit that like button, give this video a like, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'll catch you guys as always in the next one.